You know that feeling, the rush of a fresh chart, the thrill of a new setup, the dopamine hit of this could be the one. You open TradingView, you zoom in, zoom out, draw your lines, watch a video, save another one for later. You tell yourself you're refining your edge. But let's be honest, you're not trading, you're hiding. You're addicted to potential. See, there's a specific kind of trader who never really trades. They study everything. They know every indicator, every theory, every backtest, but when it's time to pull the trigger, they freeze. And here's the twisted part. They love that feeling. The idea of what could happen feels better than what actually does. The brain treats potential like a drug. The fantasy of future success releases more dopamine than the success itself. So, you convince yourself you're being disciplined. You tell yourself you're waiting for confirmation. But deep down, you know what's really happening. You're addicted to the analysis loop because it keeps you safe. No risk, no pain, no loss. Just endless potential. But here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Potential that isn't executed isn't potential. It's poison. It keeps you trapped in a loop that looks productive but leads nowhere. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how that addiction works, chemically, psychologically, financially, and more importantly, how to break it before it buries your trading career. Because the most dangerous drug in the market isn't greed, it's potential. Every trader says they want freedom, but freedom isn't found in analysis, it's found in action. The problem is, you've built an identity around learning. You watch videos like this. You highlight books. You tweak systems, but you never test yourself in the fire. You've convinced yourself that one more backtest will fix the fear. It won't. This channel isn't about strategies or signals. This is Disciplined Trades, where we rewire your brain to trade like a professional, not a procrastinator. Because the truth is, the top 1% of traders aren't smarter. They're not faster. They're not using secret indicators. They just execute. They've trained themselves to move when everyone else overthinks. And in this video, you'll learn how. We're going to break down 5 psychological traps that keep you addicted to potential and how professionals escape them. You'll see why your brain rewards hesitation, how perfectionism is just fear in disguise, why your obsession with backtesting is actually avoidance, how comfort destroys execution, and finally, the brutal shift that rewires your entire decision-making process. And here's your challenge. Before this video ends, you'll choose one thing to execute. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the difference between a dreamer and a trader is one click. Comment below right now what's the trade, habit, or decision you've been analyzing for too long. Let's expose it together. Because this isn't about information anymore. It's about liberation. Chapter 1, the dopamine loop, why your brain loves almost. Here's what everyone forgets. Your brain doesn't reward success. It rewards anticipation of success. That means the second you start analyzing a setup, dopamine begins to rise. It feels good, exciting, hopeful. You start imagining the win, the breakout, the validation. That anticipation hits harder than the outcome ever could. It's the same neuroscience behind gambling addiction. Slot machines don't hook you because you win. They hook you because you almost win. The flashing lights, the near misses, the what ifs, they keep dopamine flooding your system. You think you're analyzing charts, but your brain is chasing that chemical rush of almost. Here's the kicker. Once you execute, dopamine drops. The uncertainty ends. Reality takes over. The high fades, and you crash. So what do? You chase another hit. You open a new chart. You start the cycle again. MIT researchers call this the loop of deferred reward. The brain prefers the chase to the capture. And traders are the perfect victims. Every new ticker is another dose. Paul Tudor Jones once said, "The best traders are not those who crave excitement, but those who can tolerate boredom." That line is everything, because the cure for dopamine addiction is boredom. Can you sit in neutrality while everyone else chases another hit? Can you tolerate the silence between setups? Or do you need the illusion of progress to feel alive? Be honest. You know which one it is. Chapter 2, the perfection illusion. Fear disguised as discipline. Here's where it gets tricky. You tell yourself you're being patient. You're waiting for confirmation. But deep down, you're not patient. You're scared. Perfectionism is just fear with a nice suit on. You're not waiting for the perfect setup. You're waiting for a guarantee. You want certainty in an uncertain game. That's not discipline. That's delusion. Ray Dalio once wrote that the biggest mistake in investing is believing that uncertainty means you shouldn't act. Professionals know uncertainty is the game. Here's how it plays out. You see a setup, it meets your rules. Your gut says go, but your perfectionist voice whispers, wait, the RSI isn't perfect. Wait, the news might ruin it. Wait, maybe after one more candle. You hesitate, price moves. You watch it go exactly where you planned, and then the pain hits. Not the pain of loss, but the pain of regret. That quiet, nauseating, I knew it. That's the cost of perfection. Do this long enough, and your brain starts associating hesitation with safety. You start believing that not acting is a skill. But in trading, hesitation is poison. Perfection isn't mastery. It's paralysis. The pros don't wait for perfect. They wait for probable. Then they pull the trigger and let probability do its job. Because every time you wait for perfect, you're paying rent to fear. Chapter 3. The Backtesting Trap. The Comfort of Control. Let's talk about the holy grail of procrastination backtesting. Don't get me wrong. Backtesting is crucial. But for most traders, it's not preparation. It's protection. Because on paper, you can't lose. You can always adjust parameters, tweak indicators, optimize entries. You're in control. There's no uncertainty, no emotions, no chaos. It feels safe. And that's the problem. Your obsession with optimization isn't about improving results. It's about avoiding risk. You're not testing the strategy, you're testing how long you can delay reality. George Soros once said, "The market is designed to punish the comfortable, and backtesting is comfort disguised as work." There's an old military saying, "No plan survives first contact with the enemy." Your backtest is the plan. The market is the enemy. The moment you go live, everything changes. Spreads, slippage, emotions, they all rewrite the script. But the real reason you stay in backtesting mode is deeper. You want control. Because executing means surrendering control. It means trusting your rules and accepting whatever comes. And that terrifies you. Here's the brutal truth. You can't control the outcome, only your input. The pros backtest to build confidence, not certainty. Then they step into the fire and let the data evolve. Amateurs backtest to build illusions. Which side are you on? Chapter 4. The Comfort Cage. Why you'd rather learn than earn. Here's what nobody tells you. Learning feels safer than earning. Because learning means you're still becoming. It gives you permission to fail without consequence. You can say, "I'm still working on it." Once you start executing, that excuse disappears. Now, results expose you, they measure you, they judge you, and that's terrifying. So you stay in your comfort cage, you buy more books, you sign up for another webinar, you say, "I'm just building foundation." But the truth is, you're building walls. Think about it. Every hour spent learning is 1 hour avoiding feedback. Traders love potential because it protects the ego. Potential means you could be great, but you haven't had to prove it yet. It's safe, it's infinite. Execution is finite, real, measurable. Potential is a fantasy where you always win. Execution is reality, where you probably won't, at least not right away. And that's why so few people ever make the leap. But here's the paradox. Every successful trader you admire, they were once exactly where you are. The difference is they got tired of studying potential. They wanted data, pain, reality. And that reality set them free. Chapter 5. The Execution Paradox. The moment that changes everything. Here's the secret professionals don't advertise. You don't become confident before you act. You become confident because you act. Execution isn't the result of confidence. It's the creator of it. The first trade is supposed to feel uncomfortable. The first step is supposed to feel wrong. That's the signal that you're rewiring your brain. Think about Navy SEALs. They don't feel fearless before jumping into danger. They've just conditioned their bodies to act before fear can interfere. You can do the same. Set rules that force execution. One setup, one trigger, one plan. No hesitation, no review until after. Your brain will resist, it'll scream, not yet. That's when you click. Because the difference between fear and freedom is 1 second of courage. Professionals automate their execution to bypass emotion. Algorithms don't hesitate, not because they're smart, but because they're consistent. Your goal is to become that consistent, to make execution mechanical and review emotional, not the other way around. Every time you act in uncertainty, you train your brain to trust itself. That trust compounds. That's how discipline is built. Not by thinking, by doing. Climax. Let's slow this down. You've been living in the illusion of potential, believing that preparation equals progress. But deep down, you know the truth. You've been safe for too long. Look at your screen time, your notes, your screenshots, your endless folders of strategies. You've done the work. You've learned enough. What you're missing isn't knowledge, it's courage. Because the transition from learner to trader isn't intellectual, it's emotional. And every emotion your brain uses to stop you, fear, doubt, hesitation, is trying to protect you. But the thing it's protecting you from is exactly what you need: uncertainty. Potential feels good because it's limitless. Reality feels terrifying because it's finite. But reality is where progress lives. Potential is infinite, but it's worthless. Execution is imperfect, but it's everything. You don't build a career on what you could do. You build it on what you did again and again until it becomes who you are. Think about it. Every legendary trader, Dalio, Jones, Livermore, they all had the same choice: sit in potential or act in imperfection. And they acted, not because they felt ready, because they refused to waste another second pretending to be. So I'll ask you the question that ends the illusion. What are you waiting for? Because every second you spend analyzing the next move, someone else is executing it. And in the market, hesitation doesn't cost time, it costs opportunity. You're not addicted to trading, you're addicted to almost trading. It's time to break the cycle. Let's recap. Your addiction to potential comes from 5 traps. 1, the dopamine loop. Your brain craves anticipation, not results. 2, the perfection illusion, fear disguised as discipline. 3, the backtesting trap, comfort disguised as control. 4, the comfort cage, learning as avoidance. And 5, the execution paradox, confidence follows action, not the other way around. You don't need another course. You don't need another indicator. You need one decision. Execute once. Start small. Micro account. Paper trade. Doesn't matter. The point isn't profit. It's proof. Proof that you can act without permission. Then do it again and again. Because every time you act, you starve the addiction. Every time you hesitate, you feed it. If this hit you hard, like the mirror you didn't want to look into, hit like. Not for the algorithm, for accountability. Comment below. What's the one thing you're executing today? And if you're ready for the next step where we dismantle the hidden emotional addictions behind every trading decision, subscribe. Because next week, we're breaking down the hidden ego trap, why you sabotage success right before you win. Until then, remember this: potential is a drug, execution is freedom, and you're 1 click away from breaking the cycle. Welcome to the 1% who act. See you in the next video.